Hello, this is World University and Schools news and question and answer on Monday, December 9th, 2024 at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And I'm holding up a card right now with World University and Schools URL uh, and logo and email address on the back of the card. If you know of prospective students who would like to matriculate at World University and School for free MIT OpenCourseWare centric WUAS degrees in the future, for example, bachelor, PhD, law, MD, IB high school or similar AAAS 2 years undergraduate degree or a master's degree, for example. I'm wearing my kilt jacket today because it's dreich outside, or dreich, the Scottish word for cloudy, foggy, misting, gray. And as I seek to share this upcoming news with you, I'd like to first say that World University and School Agenda Item 0, again, further is seeking to build out in all 200 countries as major universities in each country online, MIT OCW-centric WUAS degrees, where MIT OpenCourseWare is now in about 5 languages, and it's been in as many as 10 or 15 languages in its possible 25, roughly, years of history of existence. So Agenda Item 0, top 10 universities producing the most employable graduates, a visual story from Swarow Pandey. The top 10 universities here are in a few countries, and World University and School also seeks to employ potentially 2.5 million people over the next 50 to 100 years, slightly larger than Walmart. The World University and School on the academic wing, and the WUAS Corporation, WUAS Press, in 7,164 known living languages, with the WUS educational services stores on the other hand. And so in seeking to also build out and collaborate with and bring together on our wikis, in the main courses wiki subject page, World University and School seeks to bring together greatest universities OpenCourseWare, for example, as well as to build out World University and School in a realistic virtual Earth for universities. So a virtual USA, a virtual England, a virtual Japan, a virtual China. So this article and a set of tweets, top 10 universities producing the most employable graduates, visual story. The set of tweets I created reads, how at World University and SCH, our main Twitter feed, and at WUS Press to interoperate hashtag greatest UNIVS WUAS at 1 MIT, 2 Caltech, 3 Stanford University and via Codex Stanford in the law school there, 4 Harvard University, 5 Cambridge Uni, 6 Princeton Uni, 7 University of Oxford, 8 University of Tokyo, 9 Imperial College London, and 10 Peking University, Beijing University, PKU 81898, PKU 1898 is their Twitter feed. With these 10 being, according to this article, the top 10 universities producing the most employable graduates. And in hashtag countries, WUAS, and potentially in a realistic virtual Earth as well. So in what ways further could one do this? Could World University and School, with time, and in seeking to hire possibly 1 million people on our academic wing, and 1.5 million people on our WUAS Educational Services Stores academic press wing in all 7,164 known living languages, find a way to begin to hire graduates of these top 10 greatest universities, and also hire the graduates of greatest universities in all 200 countries. Fascinating possibility to create all these kinds of academic jobs and potentially retail jobs as well at World University and School by collaborating with top 10 universities producing the most employable graduates. And thanks to Swaroop Pandey for this November 22nd, 2024 article, visual story article, top 10 universities producing the most employable graduates. In today's blog posts for today's WS News and Question and Answer, not only are the Twitter feeds for these top 10 universities producing the most employable graduates, but also the main website for each of these universities that might especially relate to employable graduates. So, for example, socialmediahub.mit.edu and studentlife.mit.edu, and then caltech.edu, the California Institute of Technology's main homepage, and stanford.edu. So further, agenda item 1, there is much hashtag academic sociology work ahead. If some of 7.9 billion people on the planet, having kids too, live for another 400 or 8,000 years with extreme longevity genetic drugs emerging, potentially FDA approved, and aging reversal genetic drug therapies emerge as well. So check out the sociology wiki school or wiki subject at World University and School, wiki.worlduniversityandschool.org/wiki/sociology with a capital S. And this will grow into all 200 countries, WUS universities, and in their main languages. So each of these wiki sociology schools or subjects will develop differentially, potentially over time, and in different languages. And it's potentially extensible into all 7,164 known living languages, so that the individual speakers of these 7,164 known living languages, for example, might be able to create a sociology, or would be able to create a sociology wiki subject school in their language and develop sociology from their language's resources, from its history with sociology, from their own interests in sociology in their language. It's an expression perhaps also of linguistic relativity with regard to an academic. subject. So a set of tweets in these regards. There's much hashtag academic sociology ahead to do, and regarding hashtag extreme longevity, hashtag aging reversal, hashtag genetic drug therapies. If some of 7.9 billion people live for another 400 or 8,000 years plus, having kids, and also in hashtag US FED GOVT, US federal government, hashtag sociology WUAS2. And for example, with a US federal government sociology web page, they hire many sociologists, and the US government with 2.87 million employees, bigger than what World University and School seeks to employ over the next 50 to 100 years at possibly 2.5 million people, will grow with academic sociology, perhaps collaborating with the US federal government's academic sociology focus, and at World University and School sociology. And in this very unique time with aging reversal and extreme longevity genetic drug therapies, when some of us may live for another 400 or 8,000 or 80,000 years as individual organisms, and also having kids, how do we begin to learn about and plan for and budget for and study and use machine learning to predict how we might all proceed in all 200 countries? Academic sociology may be one key way forward to study this remarkable set of developments of extreme longevity and aging reversal genetic drug therapies for some 7.9 billion people and having kids, potentially also in a realistic virtual Earth. For example, with electronic health records, avatar agent electronic health records, a realistic virtual Earth for STEM, for medicine, for languages, for everything. Let me just check if people want to join this WS News and question and answer. Agenda item 2, Wiki World University and School, WUAS. The WUAS Miraheza Media Wiki, World University and Schools Miraheza Media Wiki, our front-end media wiki, which is editable, which is in about 743 pages in English so far, but will develop in all 200 countries, main languages, and potentially in all 7,164 known living languages. People will be able to create a wiki subject. People will be able to add and edit a wiki subject. Is developing. And see, for example, wiki.worlduniversityandschool.org/wiki/subjects with a capital S for the current main subjects at World University and School, both academic and creative. So the WS Miraheza Media Wiki is developing, if only a bit dishearteningly, with fundraising banners across the top of many of WUAS's 743 wiki subjects or schools, potentially from the Wikimedia Foundation, and hopefully only very temporarily. And this morning, when I opened the languages wiki subject page in my browser, there was no banner, a fundraising banner. So maybe things are developing already in those regards. I wasn't able to get into World University and Schools Media Wiki, our wiki, for the past 2 weeks or so. Wasn't able to log in and make edits as an admin, possibly because of this further engagement by the Wikimedia Foundation. World University and Schools very glad to have these 743 pages going and free and with a backend structured knowledge database of Wikidata, and to be growing further, potentially in conversation in a new way with between our front-end MediaWiki as university wiki subjects and potentially the coders and the organizers of that help make WS Mirrorhazen Media Wiki work with Wikibase, work with Wikidata, for example. Agenda item 3. This is an upcoming collaboration, a training session from India, a special training session in the incredible transformative potential of Gemini AI in education. So this is Team Mahatattva in collaboration with at GEG Ahmedabad this upcoming Saturday, 12/14/2024, at 4 to 5 p.m. India time, is inviting you to a special training session. So I created a set of tweets in these regards. Dear fellow educator, hashtag Team Mahatattva is in collaboration with GEG Ahmedabad, that's a Twitter feed, invites you to a special training session to explore the incredible transformative potential of hashtag Gemini AI in education on Saturday, 12/14/2024, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. India time. And register with the form, the GDocs form, the link for which is in both blog posts for today. On my personal blog post, it begins Downey Serviceberry, Amelentia arborea, Monday 12/9/24 open MIT OCW centric wiki World University World Univ and SCH WS News and Q&A with Zoom URL, and that's in scott-mccloud.blogspot.com, and similar in World University and Schools blog, World University and School.blogspot.com. Register for this free special training session and learn further how Gemini AI in education may be able to help you as an educator with machine learning, the remarkable developments in machine learning and artificial intelligence in new ways. This potentially emerges also with World University and School, collaborating with hashtag Grow with Google. So this is a free open training session on Gemini AI in education next Saturday, 12/14/2024. Register if you're interested. Agenda item 4. This is both humorous and relevant to World University and Schools seeking to be in all 200 countries and potentially per the Olympics, which is in about 200 countries, and also from a John Cleese Monty Python perspective. So John Cleese, a new event, this is a Twitter post, a new event for the Monty Python Olympics, or name a better one. So there's a little video clip of what looks like 3 athletes, all on the same 2 cross-country skis, but short cross-country skis. So 3 athletes all put their feet into these 2 skis, foot straps, and they're about 4 teams of 3 each, and they synchronize. And could this become a new Olympic event? And it also looks very humorous. So I created a set of tweets in reply to this. being a great appreciator of Cleese and Monty Python from the 1970s and 80s, in particular, comedy. Those are very serious walkers. A different direction for friends of the hashtag silly walk. And Cleese is ongoingly developing the silly walk. Want to head the comedy wiki school at World University and School, hashtag Mr. Cleese, hashtag Professor John Cleese of hashtag Silly Walk University, all 200, hashtag WUAS UNIVS, seek hashtag Olympic students to enroll online for free WUAS degrees. So further, in what ways could World University and School work with the Olympic committees in all 200 countries to get a new kind of student, perhaps reaching out to Olympic athletes who might become students at World University and School with their remarkable training abilities as athletes and focus? Could World University and School also, as an innovative new set of universities, parallel this a new event for Monty Python Olympics, or name a better one from John Cleese? And further, could this event be trained for in the home with 3 athletes putting their feet into 2 cut-off cross-country skis and the 3 athletes working in synchrony with cross-country skiing devices in the home for movement and exercise? Could one even do this in a realistic virtual earth, in a digital mask? Train for this from home, getting exercise at home as well in an innovative way. Check out the John Cleese's Twitter post in these regards from last week. Agenda item 5. So this is an email to the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C., which I visited on Wednesday, November 24th, 2024, the day before Thanksgiving in the USA. And I went in to the Library of Congress, and World University and School has long sought to potentially collaborate with all 200 countries' national universities, as well as greatest universities' libraries. And in exploring further in this, in the Library of Congress of Thomas Jefferson, on Wednesday, November 27th, I met a research librarian in the Hispanic and European collection, Mr. Torres Gonzalez. And this was after I had gotten a reader identification card, which I hope will give me access remotely to the collection of the Library of Congress, all 51 million books and 173 cataloged objects. And I hope it would give matriculating students at World University and School, such a reader card, access to the Library of Congress's 51 million books and 173 million cataloged objects, and potentially even in a realistic virtual earth. So I emailed the Librarian of Congress, Carla Hayden, and as well as Mr. Torres Gonzalez, to whom I had given my World University and School card, and explained World University and School further. Mr. Torres Gonzalez, in the Hispanic and European collections, work in about 70 languages, out of 200 countries' main languages. And one of the questions we talked about was, how would Peru World University and School, Peruvian students in Spanish and other languages there, be able to access from their homes in Peru possibly the Library of Congress collection, and even in a realistic virtual earth for libraries, such that they could enter into Google Street View with TimeSlider. And in 1898, just after the Library of Congress new building was built, or its main building was built, go to a bookshelf, a virtual bookshelf in the Library of Congress from there, from photographs and paintings, and pull off a book from the shelf that might be a PDF at this time, portable document format file, and read it right there in their homes in Peru. And then perhaps in 1968, also go into the virtual Library of Congress in Google Street View with TimeSlider from Peru. Same shelves in the physical Library of Congress, rendered virtually, and pick off a different book. So a realistic virtual earth for libraries would be a new way of cataloging books and objects, making them accessible as well. So my letter to the Librarian of Congress, Carla Hayden, and Mr. Torres Gonzalez in the Hispanic and European collections reads, in part, I'm writing to introduce further the planned online libraries of MIT OCW-centric Wiki World University and School WUAS. And with this guidestar.org/profile/27-3105368. So that's World University and Schools tax exempt GuideStar profile. And not only in all 200 countries and the nation states wiki subject page at World University and School, where these WS universities will emerge from in those countries' languages, with major WS universities emerging here and in their main languages for matriculating WUAS students for free online bachelor, PhD, law, MD, IB, high school, similar AAAS and MS degrees, but also online libraries planned in all 7,164 known living languages at WUAS and in extinct languages as well. And this as the beginning of the wiki side of this, the library resources wiki subject page or wiki school, which is in English only so far. So MIT OCW-centric Wiki World University and School, WS, as I mentioned, is developing 200 online WS major online research libraries in all 200 countries per Olympics main languages, and potentially building out of all national libraries and greatest universities libraries in all these countries too. So Peruvian students would be able to access resources from the Peru National Library and the greatest universities in Peru. For example, MIT OCW-centric Wiki World University and School WUS is seeking to make it possible to enter via, for example, Google Street View with TimeSlider, hashtag GMaps with TimeSlider, and there's a Google Maps, Google Street View long URL to the front of the Library of Congress, which is in a realistic virtual earth. So one can walk around in front of the Library of Congress in Google Street View from this URL. And there's the GMaps Library of Congress URL too, so you can see where the Library of Congress is on Google Maps, and they interrelate the Street View and the Google Maps URLs. Like to add any and all libraries on the planet, WikiAdd, and public libraries, and from any time in history as well, and pick a book as a PDF, portable document file, format file presently, or similar off a shelf, and from home for free, and read it, study it, do research with it, handle it in novel virtual ways, in innovative digital ways too, and such that one could also time slide back in Google Street View to, say, the Thomas Jefferson Library of Congress building in 1897 when it opened in Washington, D.C., and from paintings and photos of the bookshelves from that year added to Google Street View with Time Slider, either by Google or by artificial intelligence and machine learning, or by us as individuals, pick each and any of these books off these virtual shelves and, again, read the book then and there in one's home. And so here's the idea expressed concisely in a set of tweets from a few months ago. Hashtag realistic virtual earth for libraries. Searched hashtag Yale libraries in 1960s and 70s. Hashtag Google AI, hashtag Yale University. Libraries held a variety of collections, including New Schools Exchange, hashtag African American History, and a controversial twin study, hashtag WUAS Genetics. And see the Yale University article about this from 2003 on February 11th regarding African American exhibit documents from the 1960s and 70s. Hashtag WUASML for machine learning. So further to Librarian of Congress Carla Hayden and Mr. Torres Gonzalez. How best to explore adding all of the Library of Congress's whole collection to Google Street View with Time Slider, and for the American public, but especially for WUS matriculating degree students, and not only for WUAS students from the USA, but from each of all 200 countries, and possibly as WUS in collaboration with the Library of Congress grows major online research libraries in all 200 countries, potentially to make, in a sense, the Library of Congress the largest library in the world by being in all 200 countries as well, as possibly a kind of hub or possibly library operating system in a realistic virtual earth. Think Google Street View with Time Slider. Such a hashtag realistic virtual earth for libraries, Twitter is for the hashtag refers to Twitter, would interoperate with a hashtag realistic virtual earth, hashtag for everything. And with this incredible hashtag Toolify AI WUAS article from hashtag Peter Norvig, revolutionizing education with machine learning and AI, hashtag World University in School, toolify.ai is the URL. So revolutionizing education with machine learning and AI -2574306 is how the URL ends. Updated March 2nd, 2024, being the first time anyone other than WUAS that I know of has mentioned the idea of a realistic virtual earth. And there's a URL from Twitter for the realistic virtual earth for as a hashtag. So Carla Hayden, Mr. Torres Gonzalez, thoughts about how MIT OCW-centric Wiki World Univ and SCH WS might proceed with developing all of the above with the Library of Congress? Looking forward to staying in touch about some of this via email and Twitter. All the best. Thanks. Friendly regards, Scott G.K. McLeod. And the library's blog label in scott-mcleod.com, and the library resources blog label in scott-mcleod.blogspot.com. And with some URLs to the main Library of Congress homepages, could we enter into this realistic virtual earth from libraries from the Library of Congress homepages? And further, in a realistic virtual earth for everything, I included in my email to Librarian of Congress Carla Hayden and Mr. Torres Gonzalez, a blog post from October of 2024 regarding even potentially a realistic virtual Earth for history and the history of the 1960s and 70s, a time I'm interested in scholarly and in other ways with my realistic virtual Harbin Hot Springs first book and project, Harbin Hot Springs Ethnographic Project. So the blog post from October of 2024, title reads Hippeastrum calyptratum. It's a flower species. Was Harvard and MIT professor of genetics George Church, like many, many students at Andover, Phillips Academy, Andover High School, Duke University, and Harvard University in the 1960s and early 1970s, a hippie? Many, many students at Andover, Duke, and Harvard in the 1960s and early 1970s were hippies or hippie, including George Church, I posit. How can hashtag Gemini AI and ML, Gemini AI and ML, learn regarding hashtag 1960s history and regarding hippies and people, especially of the 1960s and 70s? Was hashtag age reversal genetics geneticist Dr. hashtag Geo Church a hippie then? I'd and hashtag WUAS UNIVS posit he was. How best to hashtag wiki study, hashtag hippie history in hashtag realistic virtual earth for history and hashtag AI and ML. So check out this blog post. It relates to an interest of going back to Providence, Rhode Island in a realistic virtual Earth. I've reached out to the Brown University libraries in these regards, probably last year even, about creating a realistic virtual Earth for Providence and Brown University in the 1960s and 70s. Could we see Grateful Dead shows, for example, in Providence, and then walk around the streets and go into houses, for example, hippie houses, hippie communes, in and around Brown University in an iterating realistic virtual Earth for the 1960s and 70s. And further, I included the Hispanic Reading Room and European Reading Room, which are located on the second floor of the Thomas Jefferson Building in the Southeast Pavilion, link for the website. And again, how to add the entire 51 million books of the US federal government's Library of Congress, possibly to a realistic virtual Earth, and how to access the entire 51 million books of the US federal Congress, Library of Congress in a realistic virtual Earth. And check out the blog post from December of 2024 that begins Book Cliffs, Colorado, Utah in these regards. So my Library of Congress Reader ID card picture is also in today's blog post for today's WS News and Question and Answer. The card is Downey Serviceberry Amelanchier Arborea. How could we make such cards available to World University and school students and to access the Library of Congress 51 million books and 173 million cataloged objects available to everyone? I still can't, I think, get into very many books online at all in the Library of Congress. I think I would have had to have not only gotten this Library of Congress Reader ID card, but also in person have gotten a temporary password. So I think the Library of Congress is iterating regarding coding for such possibilities as a realistic virtual Earth for libraries to access the Library of Congress, all its content. So a set of tweets in these regards. How best at LIBNOF CONGRESS. That's Carla Hayden's Twitter feed currently, the Librarian of Congress, with the Book Cliffs, Colorado, Utah blog post, to access, handle, and study in a realistic virtual Earth. Think in G Street View with G time slider, and at World Univ and SCH in all 200, hashtag WUAS UNIVS, one of 51 million books or 173 million objects from the US federal government's Library of Congress, hashtag physical LOC. So how to get all those physical books digitized and accessible, and objects too. So agenda item 6. So this is regarding a computer program that might be used and designed by World University and School for architecture, for designing cities, emerging out of potentially Google Street View with Time Slider. And part of the idea here emerges from being in asylum in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for the past 2 years, and wondering how a computer program could be designed to make Pittsburgh beautiful and iteratively, and potentially with machine learning and AI, and with specific design focuses for beauty, for example, and for people, to make cities livable for people again, and potentially like Stanford University's campus too. So a book that I refer to here is hashtag A Pattern Language, Oxford University Press from 1977. And how also to grow back Main Street as commercial centers and for people and community against the mall. So a set of tweets, 2 sets of tweets in these regards. How could at WUASPRESS and Twitter develop a hashtag computer program WUAS with hashtag G Street View, with hashtag G Time Slider, with hashtag G Maps, hashtag TensorFlow, artificial intelligence from Google, with incredible hashtag A Pattern Language, Towns, Buildings, Construction Book, 1977, and hashtag Frederick Law Olmsted Vision for cities, and to rebuild beautifully for people in a realistic virtual Earth, but that building companies could use in potentially developing cities into the future, developing Pittsburgh for the next 50 or 100 years, or 1,000 years, or 3,000 years, for example. So this set of tweets retweets Stanford University's Twitter post with a picture of Stanford from the late 1800s in at Stanford MAG, conflicts and compromises between Frederick Law Olmsted and Leland Stanford led to an iconic campus with a magazine article. How could a computer program potentially for also redesigning houses, and not only at the Google Street View level, but also potentially for designing electrical systems and plumbing systems and similar, possibly relating to AutoCAD program. How could all of this emerge? How could World University and School create this so that possibly cities could help develop such a program and even universities in cities for their cities, not only with a pattern language focus, power to the people, under Frederick Law Olmsted focus, but other aesthetic focuses, and with the time slider aspect in Google Street View. A very interesting and complex coding project. Perhaps John Maeda, the former president of Rhode Island School of Design and former MIT professor, too, in design-related fields, now at Microsoft working on AI and machine learning, could help with this. So a second set of tweets in these regards from a little while back regarding a pattern language. How does the incredible At a Pattern Language, Towns, Buildings, Construction, Architecture Book 1977 approach hashtag mall blight in hashtag urban sprawl? And how could hashtag physical digital, hashtag WUAS educational services stores build out at WUS Press in all 200 countries and languages and help with this in a realistic virtual earth? So could we use WUS educational services stores and World University and School itself with virtual USA, virtual Russia, virtual Japan, virtual Nigeria, as well as virtual California and virtual Vermont, build out potentially not only our campuses, but our physical digital WUAS educational services stores, such that we could develop a new approach that responds to mall blight and urban sprawl. So agenda item 7, the next WUS open meetings online on 12/16, Monday next week, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Pacific Time, 7:30 p.m. India Time. And on Saturday, 12/21/2024, open MIT OCW-centric World University and School WUS monthly business meeting, loosely conducted in the manner of Friends, Quakers, at 9 a.m. Pacific Time, 12 noon Eastern Time. I think it's 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Check your time converter to join from your country, from any of 200 countries. And then in January of 2025, the next WUS monthly business meeting, again, loosely conducted in the manner of Friends, Quakers, will meet on January 18th, 2025, third Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific Time. And I may well be back in California, in the San Francisco Bay Area, moving forward with the WUAS Academic Medical Center and WUS Longevity Genetics Institute into a newly safe Canyon, California 94516, about 8 miles southeast of Berkeley. In fact, even on next Monday's December 16th, 2024, in the WUS News and Question and Answer, I may be in Canyon 94516 at that time, having driven out there, leaving tomorrow, Tuesday, December 9th, 2024, and in seeking to get to Canyon 94516 by Saturday for a proposed Reed College Reedy book group on that day, 12/14/2024. So the WUS News and Question and Answer next Monday may be from Canyon, California. I think it would be at 7 a.m. for me then in Canyon, California, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and I think it would be 7:30 p.m. India time. So the second wing of WUAS, 3 agenda items today. Second of two WUAS swings, our for-profit general stock company legal entity in the state of California, the WS Corporation, WUS Academic Press, in 7,164 languages with machine learning. Check out the current homepage, worlduniversityandschool.org/academicpress.html. Agenda item A, with regard to Pi, KYC, know your customer. In the information age, and regarding Pi KYC process, everyone who seeks to get Stanford MindPi cryptocurrency free money daily will go through a KYC process, a know your customer process. So I have a question in these regards, and asked it in the past couple of weeks as well. Does or could know your customer, KYC, also refer to know your criminal? And see, for example, the Hazy Islands Wilderness, Alaska blog post in scott-mccloud.blogspot.com from November of 2024. And with regard to this set of tweets, could humanoid robotics, and especially this incredible Toyota Hiace or HiAce minivan, help with regard to growing a WUAS abolition movement further to abolish the wrongful buying and selling of people in the illegal sex, drugs, and violence, etc. industries internationally and their latent networks of violence. So a set of tweets in these regards. Might hashtag Stanford MindPi, hashtag Pi cryptocurrency, free money daily at mindpi.com/SGKMAC with hashtag humanoid robotics, with hashtag Toyota Hiace, Toyota HiAce van, with incredible lavatory, a restroom, a toilet inside this Toyota HiAce van. Change much as hashtag MIT OCW centric wiki World Univ and SCH grows a worldwide hashtag WUAS abolition movement to protect people, and does hashtag Pi KYC, hashtag know your customer equal hashtag know your criminal too, and the Hazy Islands Wilderness Alaska.html blog post. So this retweets Science Girl Twitter post regarding the Toyota Hiace 2025 Luxury Edition. Check out this amazing van, too, in these regards. Agenda item B, or 2, in the WS Corporation, WS Press wing. Philosophy and the Way of Life, The Way of the Gene and Ethics, a proposed book title by me, Scott G.K. McCloud. Set of tweets in these regards regarding 3 upcoming books I'm planning to write, potentially, or exploring writing. Hashtag The Way of the Gene and Ethics, Aging Reversal, hashtag Extreme Longevity and Sex. Check out the Planarians Triclad's Flatworm blog post from October of 2024, and potentially coming into conversation with Lao Tzu's hashtag The Way of Life, hashtag PWL, Philosophy as a Way of Life, and see also the blog post in these regards with regard to this title, The Way of the Gene and Ethics, proposed title from October of 2024, beginning Yellow Eye Rockfish, and also the blog post beginning Calochortus, Calochortus, from December of 2024. And after I write hashtag Society, Information and Technology and the Global University, Soc, Info, Tech, and the Global UNIV, as well as after I write the second hashtag Harbin Hot Springs Ethnography at Harbin Book. as World University School grows, and these to be published potentially by the WUAS Press from Google Street View with TimeSlider, especially the Harbin Hot Springs Ethnographic Book Project #2. Agenda item C, WUAS multimedia houses for faculty, #faculty, WUAS, and far inland in the East Bay of the San Francisco Bay Area. And also regarding Toyota Sienna vans, #Toyota Sienna vans with a #tiny camper shower. And check out the Toyota Hiace up in agenda item above regarding an already existing lavatory, potentially with a shower, in a Toyota minivan. I don't think Toyota Hiace minivans are available in the US or Canada yet. So how will, set of tweets in these regards, how will at World Univ and SCH at WUAS Press grow first in #SF Bay Area, in #SF East Bay WUAS, with not only #multimedia barns and #WUAS multimedia rooms and #WUAS multimedia houses for #faculty WUAS and far inland, and also in #Toyota Sienna vans with #tiny camper shower and WUAS faculty homes, and in growing 200 #WUAS UNIVS. And this retweets also Science Girl, or Guns N' Roses Girl 3, Twitter feed, Toyota Hiace 2025 Luxury Edition. The Toyota Hiace luxury van, and is there a shower in it? Or could it be with that interesting lavatory or restroom already built in or design or part of this Hiace luxury van? So that's the WS News and question and answer for today, Monday, December 9th, 2024. Just checking to see if anyone might have sought to join us. I'll post the recording of this to World University and School's current active YouTube channel, youtube.com/videos/Scott McLeod World University, as well as to our two main Twitters and other Twitters posts, twitter.com/WORLD UNIVANDSCH, and twitter.com/WUAS Press. See you next week, potentially, from potentially Canyon, California 94516, and a new first possible property for World University and School at WUAS, and in particular for the WUAS Academic Medical Center and the WUAS Longevity Genetics Institute. So bye for now, and see you soon.